Thank you everybody for tuning in. And I just wanted to introduce Craig Michaels. He's an incredible seasoned real estate agent in the Palm Springs area, and we're here to get to know him a little bit better. I've known him for goodness over 10 years, probably going on 13 or so.
At least.
And we've had some crazy adventures even before real estate. He's a really interesting guy, and we're going to get to know him a little bit better. So, Craig, welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
Good to see you virtually.
Good to see you.
I'm doing amazing. The weather's been very kind of on the cool side for the Coachella Valley, so thank goodness triple digits haven't really been penetrating our radar just yet.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you a weatherman in the prime life?
Well, I was back in the day prior to real estate. Weather anchor was one of the many jobs that I had on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah. Let's get to know you a little bit better. So, what? First and foremost, an easy question. What's your favorite color? I see you're wearing blue today. That's one of
Uh,
my favorites.
Purple's my favorite, man.
Purple. I love it.
Yeah, I love
I
purple.
love it. Cool. Awesome. Purple's a great color. I'm sporting the salmon today, so that's fun.
It's good. I
Yeah,
like teal. Purple and teal are my two favorite.
teal. Yeah, those are great ones. Um, so you've been living in the desert a long time. When did you get to the desert?
1987. I made my appearance here, but I actually came here back in the day, back in the 70s as a child with my parents, and
Okay.
never thought I'd find myself living here. But eventually, back in 1987, I found my way here with my first radio job. That's why I came here to the Greater Palm Springs area. Was going to stay for a minute and move, to a bigger market. Next thing I know, married, got kids, and years later, I found myself in real estate. So here I am,
Yeah,
35
that's
years,
awesome.
36.
Yeah, so you were a radio DJ for a long time, and I know I we met from a DJ gig that you were involved in a party that we were at, and that's a crazy story.
You said you were going to
But
mention that. No, I was kidding.
um, always crazy fun adventures. But you were doing the DJ thing for a while. You had kind of your own production company DJing as well, not just on the radio. But it's been really cool to see your journey and your transition into real estate. So uh, for those that don't know you, what kind of got you going in real estate, and why did you decide to pivot into the real estate industry?
Well, I've always had a bit of an interest in real estate. I've owned a couple of homes myself, had a rental property in Big Bear, and enjoyed the process. And in 2010, when everything crashed, I'm sure you remember that well, I had an entertainment company at the time. And when everything crashed, so did my business. And I just started thinking, what can I do? I got to reinvent myself because, at that time, nobody was booking entertainment at all. And so I had a lot of friends who were doing real estate, and they all encouraged me and said, "Look, you know a lot of people. You've been here for a long time. You know a lot of people. That's half the battle in real estate is learning how to connect with people. And you're friendly, blah blah blah. You make a great agent." And I started thinking, yeah, maybe I should try. And I got my license in 2017 and haven't looked back. It's been a great ride. I love this job so much. I get to do a lot of the things that I was doing with my entertainment company, like producing videos for homes, promoting them on the internet, which is something I did for many years. I used to promote events. Now I just promote homes and make a little more money or a lot more money.
Yeah, I'm
so I,
sure you're having a lot more fun doing it.
yeah, I'm really enjoying the process and learning a lot at the same time. I'm in my seventh year. Things are rocking and rolling, but I'm still learning every day about architecture and interior design and those things that all go into making a great agent. Um, I can't tell you how much I love this job now. I don't see myself doing anything with this as I coast into my late years here.
Yeah. Now you're doing something really cool. You just mentioned interior design and architecture. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing in the community to raise money and your events that you're doing every month.
Oh, you're wine and design. Thank you so much. I started that about 3 years ago. I went into a local design store here in Palm Desert. It was beautiful, and I told the owner, I'd love to gather people here at your space here and do a mixer because I'm all about connecting people and myself. I go to mixers every week. I belong to all the chambers and all the organizations, so I'm out. I'm very social. And so I came up with this idea about creating a wine and design where we'll invite interior designers and contractors and all the people that my clients will need when they do upgrades and repairs to their home. And then we'll bring in some artists, and then we'll also benefit some local charities. So it's $15 at the door. It all goes to our local charities. There are a lot of great charities here doing some amazing work here in the desert. Complimentary wine, champagne, appetizers. Again, local artists will come display their artwork. And then I blast it out to the public. The last one we did in March, we had over 100 people. It was at WDC Kitchen and Bath. We raised $1,500 for Animal Samaritans, and a lot of people made some great contacts. So it's been a great way for me to meet more people, grow my sphere, and also help out and give something back to the community at the same time.
Yeah, and then you had one in April also for the Braille Institute, which I thought was really interesting. And
Yeah,
I got to know a little bit more about what they do. They don't just print Braille books, there's a lot of different aspects that go into that community. And so just really interesting. You're raising the awareness in the community for different charities, Animal Samaritans, the Braille
yeah.
Institute, but really networking with local business professionals. Um, you're really bringing together a really solid group of individuals. So
Thanks. I'm enjoying it. Meeting. I love meeting new people all the time. So
yeah,
it's turned out to be a nice little design soiree. We only do it during the season. So my last one was in March. This was my third year doing it. I'll start the fourth season again in the fall. So I do it October through April, and I take a
October
break in the
through
summer
April.
so I can gear back up and make it bigger and better. This year we are going
Yep,
to make it bigger and better. Stay tuned for details.
yep, absolutely. Um, so where's some of that information typically that they can get that information if they wanted to check out some of your events on your Facebook page?
My social channels are the best way. On Facebook, you can search under Real Estate PS. If you're on Instagram, it's Real Estate Palm Springs because Real Estate Palm Springs is already taken on Facebook. So, Facebook, Real Estate PS, or Real Estate Palm Springs on Instagram. And on there, you'll find lots of videos. I create lots of video content. I
Yeah,
love giving great information out to people. So, there's lots of information with the NAR lawsuit that's going on right now, lots of other information that, you know, people I think would benefit from, whether they're buying or selling, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So the
right.
more I can, give my clients or sphere some really solid, good information they could use when they're making their decisions when it comes to real estate, the better it's going to be for them and everybody.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. It's always changing. It's bobbing and weaving in the market. How would you describe the market right now? What are you seeing out there?
Well, when we hit 8% with our interest rates last year, I'm sure it got very quiet. The fourth quarter of 23 and early this year, it was pretty slow for everybody, not just me. A lot of the buyers kind of said, "Okay, we've had enough." And then when it came down to 7, it started getting busy. Now I'm seeing people are talking about high sixes. So, I think people are finally starting to get more comfortable with the rates at where they're at now, and I think they'll probably, as probably stay close to that 7%, 6 or 7% range through the year. So people are realizing, okay, it's just time to start buying. So in the last month and a half or so, boy, I've been getting really busy with both buyers and sellers. I think everybody's kind of realizing, okay, this is the new normal. We got to stop waiting and putting our
Right.
lives on hold because we're afraid of the interest rates. We're afraid of what's going on with the market, and we need to buy or sell our home. And that's happening right now. So, I got a couple of 2, 3 new listings coming up, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you seen that it kind of dies off in the summers, or do you see it getting momentum through the summer?
Yeah, we are a year-round community. I'm glad you brought that up. I was just talking with someone the other day about this because recently I had a client who wanted to list their home, and after I said no problem at all, and maybe a week later she calls me back, says, we're going to wait. We talked to our family and friends, and really nothing happens during the summer. We're going to wait and list it in the fall. And I've heard that a lot over the years. And so education is really a big part of my job, educating people. And I said, you know, and I didn't say this to her. I didn't want to offend her. I said, no problem at all. But really, it used to be 20 years ago, pre internet, it did slow down during the summer because people had to physically come here to the desert in person, and they needed to find a realtor, tour homes at 115-degree weather. And yes, things did slow down, and people did wait until the fall to come here to buy their homes or look for them. That's not the case anymore. You know, we've got an internet, and people have everything they need right at their fingertips.
Right.
And they can shop for homes right from their air conditioned home. And then if they see something they like, a lot of times they'll either drive in if they're nearby, or they're just flying for the weekend. After they've narrowed down their homes, they'll look at them, put in an offer, fly back out. And that's the way it's done during the summer now for a lot of people. And so, yes, we are staying busy around. In fact, Palm Springs Life, and you may have saw this study before, where they came out with a graphic that showed we were selling more homes during the non-season months than we were during the season, meaning the warm, hot months. We were selling more homes, and
Right.
so yeah, that's that's I think that's an old mindset that we slow down during the summer.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people think that that's the way it was because of the heat, but really now it's a really great time to kind of gear up for the next fall. Make sure if you're making a transition or the kids are out of school, when else are you going to be able to do your home shopping or pull off a move?
Yeah.
And yeah, nobody wants to do it during the summer, and it's not ideal. But the process, like let's say you're getting started right now, you know, 2 to 3 weeks to find a home, 30 days or less to get in the home, you're already looking at mid-August. So if you're catching this video in late June, you know, your move time is probably going to be in September. So there is a bit of a lead time, unless, of course, you're like 15 days cash and we can get you in by 4th of July, right? So,
Well, and that's another good point. You're right. A lot of people want to be in their homes by the season. Either they have kids who they need to be in their home because the school year starts, or they're just golfers, or they want to be here. They want to enjoy it. You know, when October rolls around and the cooler temperatures get here, they want to be in their home. They don't want to still be looking for one or in the process of getting one. They want to be
yeah.
in and moved in. So, or if that happened, that process is 2 or 3 month process to find a house, get into escrow, and finish everything up. So they're looking right now. People who are wanting to be in their homes
Yeah.
by the fall, they're looking now.
And there's still a lot of really great opportunities, wouldn't you say, for negotiating? And I mean, properties that have been on the market for 60 days, the sellers are getting attitude adjustments about what their house is worth, and getting kind of slapped in the face with the market if there haven't been any offers. I'd say it's as good of a time as any, at least until like once consumer confidence goes back up, now you're going to be competing with a ton of other buyers. Um, or if you're a seller, there's low inventory, so it's a great time to get on the market so that you can kind of get ahead of that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree. Now is a good time to sell during the summer because some people still have that mindset, like I just described a minute ago. Hey, let's wait till the fall to list the home. So sometimes we will see inventory dip during the summer and people waiting until the fall. So absolutely, summer is a great time to list your home. There's less competition, so obviously less competition is good for sellers. Um, so definitely, if you're a seller right now, I would consider listing your home. It'll be much less competition.
Well, I'd say if you're a vacant owner, or you don't have a tenant, or you're planning on traveling, I mean that's a great time when you're not around to show the property, because you don't have to be bothered with scheduling showings as an owner, and it's a really great opportunity to actually get it sold if you're not going to be here in the desert, right?
Yeah, that's a nice convenient setup. And it's actually a good time for buyers too, because right now our sales are still a little bit below normal. And so sellers are having to be flexible with their terms and even their price. So I think a lot of sellers are open to giving that credit at closing to buy the interest rate down. We've talked about the 2-1 rate buy down in the
Yeah.
past. And I'm really suggesting that to a lot of my buyers and say, now's a great time to buy a home, because if you wait until the rates drop, you're going to have, there's going to be thousands of other people doing the same thing. They're jumping off the fence and into the water. So you'll be competing against a lot more people, could go into multiple offers, and then the prices all go up. Now there's less competition. You get that seller credit to pay your interest rate down. That's a great scenario.
Yeah, I've got one going right now. We're doing the 2-1 buy down. Uh, they're getting an interest rate in the 5.5s, and
Sweet.
they understand that as soon as rates come down, that the prices will probably go up. So, it's a short-term solution to a long-term goal.
Yeah, and those
Um,
sellers are not going to be given those credits when rates go down, and all of a sudden there's a million buyers. Sellers aren't going to be offering your credit. They're going to be, they're going to be telling you to come back with a price that's over asking if you want to even get
yeah,
in the game.
right. Yeah, you have to build it in and structure it right for what they need. Um, Now, you've had a lot of listings come on the market. You've put together and closed a ton of deals so far this year. Are you still seeing a lot of appraisal contingencies being waived, inspection contingencies? Representing the sellers, what are you kind of setting their expectations for on receiving offers, or what are you seeing with the offers coming in?
Yeah, it's not like it was in 2021 where things were crazy and people were coming in waiving all the contingencies. In fact, buyers know they got a little bit of an upper hand because sales are still a bit below normal, so they know that the buyers know because they're told by their agents, look, we can probably ask for either credit, reduction in price, or somehow make that contract favorable in our favor when it comes to the terms. So I'm letting a lot of my sellers know, what's going on in the market now. But having said that, we're starting also to see this little wave kind of come up. The swell is starting right now, but we're talking about backwards. Earlier this year, I was telling people, look, we're going to put it on, but buyers are asking for credit. We got to make sure all the repairs are done. Let's make sure all the major ticket items. And if you're an older home, let's get a home repair done for you so we know what we're facing and we can fix those major items, because if not, they're going to ask for those things to be fixed at closing, and they're not going to be, waiving those contingencies, or you know what I mean. They
Yeah.
want more than they did, in 2021.
Right. It seems like the homes that are selling are on kind of two sides of the spectrum, right? We have the rundown fixer rehab projects, and we have the properties that are fixed up, show really nice, and kind of remodeled and ready to go. Um, would you say that there's a different approach to those two things?
Yes, in the way that you market them, there is a different approach, right? If you've got an absolute fixer, I always tell people, look, we at this point want to sell it as is. Let the new
Yeah.
person come in and take care of a lot of these things. Yeah, if it's really in bad shape, I say let's just sell it as is and just get the best price for it. Otherwise, you're going to be putting in thousands of dollars in and some of these, upgrades and repairs. You're not know if they're going to like the paint you chose for the kitchen, or you're not going to like, you don't know if the buyers are going to like a lot of the things that you're doing. Let them just do it themselves.
Yeah.
If
Your
you know
vision as a seller is going to be totally different than what your buyer's going to see, right?
exactly. Obviously, if you've already done that and your home's in great shape, then good for you. And yes, we can try and negotiate the top dollar at that point. No problem.
Yeah. Now, I know you love real estate, but I also know that you're an avid hiker, and I'm sure you have a bunch of different hobbies and interests. Besides some of the hiking groups and things that you do, what do you enjoy doing outside of real estate?
Well, besides hiking, I'm a travel addict, so I do love traveling. Looking forward to going to Thailand later this year with the kids. I've got a couple other summer trips planned, so I
Nice.
do love traveling. Hiking's a definitely, and I'm a big sports junkie. I'm into what's that paddle ball? Um,
The
Pickleball. I'm into pickleball
pickleball.
now. I love
Pickleball's
it.
huge right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
love pickleball, man. I started playing a couple weeks ago. I'm hooked. I'll be playing every week.
Well, that's what we're doing next time I'm around. We'll
Let's
go
do it.
play some pickleball.
I got an
Do you
extra
have any?
paddle.
Yeah, I've got mine. I've got two sets. I love playing that too. It's way more fun than tennis and a little bit better. They always say don't overcommit to diving when you're playing pickleball. You know?
Yeah, I've heard there's an uptick in injuries due to pickleball.
Yeah,
The other thing I love is concerts, man. For years, as we mentioned, I was in radio and I was a DJ. I did private events and parties, and so music's been a big part of my life. And so I love going to concerts. Almost a couple of months I go to at least. I love
yeah.
going to see live shows.
We've been to a couple live shows together too.
At
It's been
least
fun.
a
At
couple.
least a few. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we have. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I love music.
that's awesome. Um, so you beat me to the punch on the travel. You're headed to Thailand. I know Thailand's probably going to be one of your favorites once you get back, but what
Yeah.
is one destination that you've been before that you just absolutely love?
Well, that's pretty hard because, back in my 20s, I was a cruise director and I've traveled all over the world. And I've been to a lot of countries and islands and places. And oh, gosh, you're asking me to pick one? Uh,
One that stands out off the top of your head.
I say one place that stood out was Bermuda. I had never been there until I traveled there on the ships, and they have these bright pink sand beaches, and it just almost hurts your eyes. You got to put sunglasses on. I've never seen bright pink sand before, so that really stood. I'll never forget that. It was amazing, and beautiful, and the water is like 10 different shades of blue.
Oh
So that's
wow.
it. And the island you could eat off the streets, super clean, British influence. It's a great little island. I think that was one of my favorite places I traveled to while I was bopping around Europe. I've been. I have to say my second, or not even that second. My first favorite place that I've ever been was Paris. Yeah,
Paris.
yeah,
That's
Paris.
awesome.
I have to
Yeah,
say,
you hear Paris a lot. You don't hear about Bermuda very often.
yeah, I wouldn't even
That's a
mention it.
great
I
destination.
don't think for a minute, and then it came up. Yes, I forgot. Yes, Paris was amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
the most beautiful city I've ever been to. It's almost like a movie setting, and
yeah,
the architecture, the history, amazing. It goes back thousands of years. It makes you realize how young we are. We're just a couple 250 years or whatever. I mean, they're thousands of years, and there's buildings that were built thousands of years, and these cathedrals. And you're thinking, how did they build that 2 or 3 thousand years ago? It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. The engineering is remarkable. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what's some of the best advice you've ever received? Is there something that just kind of rings in your head?
Now that we're going back to my cruise ship days, I had a cruise director or one of the guys on the ships who I worked with, and he gave me some of the best advice. He says, never assume when you wake up the next day, you're going to have your job or your home or all the things that you have. They could be gone the very next day. I thought, what's he talking about? And then as you get older, you realize you see that happening to people. Here today, gone tomorrow. I mean, whether it
Right.
be a car accident or a heart attack or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we leave this planet. But I think a lot of times we all do, including myself. We take for granted that tomorrow is going to be there, and then tomorrow we're going to have this great life that we have. And you never know when that's going to be taken away from us. So I live in a constant state of gratitude. And I think I just lost you, Sean. Are you there? I
I'm
see.
trying to change my video. Hang on one sec.
All right. Hey, no problem. What I was saying is, it made me realize how grateful I need to be every single day. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, man, is it's just, pray and give and gratitude for everything they have. In fact, I'm looking at doing a tattoo on my arm that says gratitude because I really feel that embodies me as a person. And, I really resonate with that word. And I'm grateful to be with you here right now online. You are still there, right, John?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. I just can't see you. But I love it. You can tell it's live. This is the way we can tell it's live because things happen when you're doing a live recording, and there you are. So you're back now.
The
Yay.
love batteries and technology. It's so much fun.
I was trying to
Um,
stall for you, brother, while you were getting it back together.
you're great. I can cut that out a little bit, but yeah, you were talking about gratitude and every day, uh, every day above ground is a beautiful day, and it's not guaranteed. So you just have to have a good attitude and roll with it, right?
I think we all get complacent and just assume that everything we have right now is going to be there tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. That's not always the
Yeah,
case. So you got to be grateful today.
absolutely. Especially when things work for you.
I hear you. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
So if you were working with a first-time home buyer, is there a pro tip or something that you'd give them in this market today?
A pro tip for a first time home buyer. Well, I would let them know that, you know, sometimes it could take a little while to find the home that you really like. First of all, you're not going to find the perfect home. It's like a marriage. There may be some concessions. You'll find a home that you love, but you don't like the backyard,
Yeah,
or you don't like this or that. And that you gotta write down your top 3 to 5 must-haves. Must have
yeah,
4 bedroom, must have a pool, whatever it be, and we'll go from there. If you can get the rest on your list, great. If not, you just got to look at which one you like the best, because you're never going to find the perfect home.
yeah. Every property's got its pros and cons, and at least if you can check the majority of the boxes, you might have to give up
A little concession.
location or a bedroom or a half bath or something.
Exactly.
Um, yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
that
And then I
makes
let
sense.
them know, hey, this is a process where we've got to be patient, because it takes a little time sometimes. So don't lose hope, because I know, especially when the market's getting a little bit tight. Hold on one second. Can we stop the recording? Hey, you guys. So sorry. Can you cut that out?
Yeah, we're not live, so I'm gonna be
I
able to edit that out. No
I know
problem.
you're not. I just
Yeah,
said that.
yeah,
I just called some hear him. You could probably hear him too. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's all good. Um, so what are you hearing about the NAR settlement statement, and how are you getting up to prepare for some of those changes?
Well, that seems like it's every day there's some kind of twist in that whole settlement. But from what I understand, in fact, if you go to my Instagram channel, I just did a video on this last month, talking about what we know so far, and that is that beginning in the middle of July, they are going to be requiring buyers sign a buyer broker agreement with their agent. So no longer you can just tour around with an agent and say see you later. You'll have to sign an agreement with them, and let's see. What else was there with that NAR settlement?
Well, you heard recently the announcement with the VA.
Oh, yes, I did hear about the VA is going to start allowing, or they're trying to come up with a plan where they're going to allow the veterans to use some of their money to pay for the commissions for the buyer broker. Oh yeah, I know where I was going with that. I was going to say that now they're trying to move away from splitting the commission and having the seller pay for both sides. They're trying to get the buyer to pay for his portion and the seller to pay for his. And I think that'll be like a hybrid. I'm kind of envisioning, if the seller's not going to offer any commission, what's going to probably happen is the buyer's going to ask for some kind of a credit and use that to pay his realtor. So he'll still probably pay for a portion of it, if not all of it. It'll just be through it, instead of listing it as a commission, and it may come in a form of a credit to the buyer. But really, the big change is that they're no longer going to be letting people, brokers, advertise on the MLS the commission for the buyer's agent. Now, from what I understand, you can still advertise it on social media, your website, emails, everywhere else, just not on the MLS. That's what I know so far.
Now, tell me, if I was a seller and I thought, you know, I think the NAR settlement is going to cut out buyer agent commissions. I'm not going to pay for one. What kind of advice would you give that seller?
The buyer?
The seller, you're representing the seller and you're
Oh,
about to get their listing.
you know
What
what?
would you say, uh, what, what would you recommend as advice for setting that expectation and setting them up for success to get the best offers?
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to advise all of my clients to still offer the buyer's agent commission, just not on the MLS, but
Right.
on our website and wherever else we can put it, because that's gonna get you the most eyes on your home, because the goal when you're selling the home is to get the most eyes possible. I could tell you, if you're not offering any commission to the buyer's agent, you're going to get a lot less looks, and you're going to
Right.
get a lot less agents showing that home to their clients. Especially if their client's not going to want to pay their commission for them, they're going to be looking for people who still are offering commission, and those people who still are going to be the ones that are selling their home the fastest and for the best price, I feel.
I think old school economics in the market are going to end up kind of determining this, and I think there's a lot of dust being stirred up in the market about it. And once it all settles down, it's kind of like the CFPB where we thought like mortgage banker commissions and different things were going to go away or not be non-compliant. And I think it really says a lot about you as the seller if you're drawing a line and you don't want to offer that and you're not flexible. I mean, how easy is are you going to be able to work with not just you as the agent selling their home, but also you know getting through the transaction. We've got inspections and all those things. So I'm sure you've had conversations with sellers about this. Um, but what are some of your thoughts?
As far as being flexible or offering the commission, is that what you were getting at?
Setting yourself up for success and yeah, like setting the price that you're coming on the market at and the recommendation to still offer, a commission.
Well, I just lost you again, Sean. I miss you already. Well, I mean, when it comes to pricing a home right now, I'm still their sales. The people are just now coming off the fence, but still kind of they got their hands up, and they're not wanting to pay over asking for sure, and they're looking for the best value they can find because value, not only interest rates but home values have gone way up. So people are, they're trying to look at their budgets and get the best bang for their buck. So, yeah, I'm telling sellers, let's not get too crazy. In fact, my theory is let's look at the market and price it either at or even slightly below. That way we can get lots of eyes on it. And the more eyes, the better, because if you can get multiple interest, you know what happens when you get multiple interest. Usually that leads to multiple offers. And, you end up driving the price up. If you list your home way above the market value, it sits there for a long time, and the longer it sits, the less money your home's going to be worth, because people are going to look at it and see, well, they've been on the market for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. There must be something wrong with this house. If we like it, we're going to definitely come in with a lowball offer. And that's what usually happens when you overprice your home and it sits on the market for a long time. So that's the worst thing you can do is overprice your home by 10, 20, 40, 50,000, thinking that, to give yourself room to come down. That's old school. I mean, that you people used to do that back in the day, pre-internet. Yeah, people would list their homes for whatever they wanted because the buyer didn't have the information they have now. Buyers got all the information on a home. They can go online and tell you what your home's worth right now
Right,
without the agent being present. They can come to you and say, look, your home's not worth that kind of money. They know because they've looked at all the comps in your neighborhood. So they're savvy, the buyers are. So as a seller, you can't get too crazy.
right. And I think it really does go into that normal economics, and it's all going to kind of find its waterline after all this. And it's just been really interesting to see how, a lot of people with the right mindset are pushing through this as an obstacle, and seeing that there's still opportunity. And there are a lot of agents that haven't continued because of their own personal reasons. But you
Yeah.
seem to find an opportunity in everything and have a great attitude about it.
Thank you. And I think this is a great opportunity. You're right. I think what's going on right now with the buyer's agent having to really prove their worth and having to negotiate their own commission, I think that's going to probably drive a few of the agents out who weren't good negotiators and talking about their value and expressing their value to their clients. So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of agents leaving the industry, which will be great for those that are in it, and they're hard workers and they're professional, and I think there'll be lots of room for the top agents to absorb some of that.
Awesome. One last question. If you could put anything on a billboard, a message or anything on a billboard, what would you put on that billboard?
Oh man, no one's ever asked me that question. If I could put anything I want on a billboard, I like that question. To be honest, I'll have to try to remember that next time I'm interviewing somebody. Gosh, if I was to put something, it would be something positive. I read a lot of motivational books, and I always have my glass half full. So I'm always looking for ways to encourage or inspire others. So it more than likely would be some really killer inspirational quote about finding your true self or digging deep. I don't know. I'll have to come up with one.
I thought you'd circle back to the quote about just taking every day, day by day, and your next day is never guaranteed. So kind of live it out. but you know, for me, it's always I would do something that is like a unicorn over a rainbow, and just have a good attitude about I do something artistic or something that would put off a good vibe or something. So
Yeah, I can see it. You're a very happy person too. I think that's why we connect. We're both always very positive, happy, enjoying life, and making the most of it. And I
yeah,
think you attract that kind of energy with that type of person.
yeah, awesome. If there's a buyer or seller out there that wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that? I think you mentioned your socials a little bit earlier.
Yeah, social, but I always pick up my phone, 760-880-3848. I always prefer a phone call. I love to connect with people verbally. Of course, we can do it electronically, but I prefer a nice old-fashioned phone call. Pick up that phone, give me a call, and we can talk and go have coffee or just talk on the
Yeah, well, you're the man, buddy. I know you've got a house full of people there. We'll let you
phone.
keep cracking at it,
Too loud.
and I look forward to the next time I can see you face to face.
Oh, I appreciate working with you, Sean. You're a great guy, and you always have great information. Thank you so much.
Awesome, buddy. We'll see you soon.
All right, cheers.